Michelle Fox. I help mature women understand the changing needs of their skin and make changes to their makeup so they can look and feel their beautiful best at every age. And today we're talking about Valentine makeup. The pretty princess in me still thinks of pinks and shimmers and unicorns. I don't know where I'm going with that. When I think of Valentine's Day, I just think of soft, romantic colors. And as much as I tend to shy away from shimmer because I am a woman of mature age, we're going to find a way to apply it. We're going to do some workarounds. Okay. So stick with me. I'm going to show you some very beautiful and simple looks for Valentine's Day. One look, but I'm going to use several different colors. And I'm sure that it's something that you can apply. So pull out your colors, your makeup, your eye makeup, your cheek colors, your lipsticks and lip glosses. And let's talk about what we can put together for a soft, pink, shimmery, romantic Valentine look. All right. I'm so excited. So I have already done my foundation and my primers. And before I even do foundation, I always do my skincare. I'm not going to preach on that for long, but let me just say this. If you don't believe that having your skincare on first makes a difference, then I would highly suggest that on one half of your face, you do a skincare routine, including your moisturizer and your eye cream. Do primers, particularly an eye primer, and then put on your makeup and see and feel the difference. You will be convinced. I promise you. All right. So let's put some color on this face. I'm going to start with a matte, soft, whitish, sort of a vanilla color on my lids and just under my brows. My brows are not a typical shape. Like most people, let's see, they have more of an arch than I do, with kind of like, goes up higher. I don't have a lot going on over there. And I don't like to accentuate this fleshy hood. So when I put my highlight under my brow, I pretty much just focus on just this area right here. So I'm going to put some on in that area there. Let's see if you can see me. So I really packed the color on, but we'll blend it out. And then I'm going to do the same thing on my lid. This is just giving us a base to work from. Highlight brings things to the forefront, it draws attention to, and we want our lids to be. I know that we may have crepey lids, so you might think, well, I don't want people drawing, I don't want people looking at that, but it's not that so much as because we become more hooded with age, it's difficult to see our lids at all. So we want some highlight in there so that people can see our lid. And the matte shade is helping to camouflage the crepiness. So we've got this on sort of the almond part shape of our eye. And then the same color for me, I just put on this front area underneath my brow. Depending on the shape of your brow and whether or not you've got a hood, you may want to take that, all the way back. Okay. Real quick to the other side. If you feel like you really need to blend that out, this would be a great time to do that. I don't want to lose really any of that color, so I'm just going to use a very light hand. But since I packed it on so thick, you can really, really see where it starts and stops. And so we want to kind of buff a little bit of that edge off. So now we're going to start in with some shimmery pink. This is sort of a dusty pink. It's not bright. It's not super light. It's not a pastel, sort of middle of the road, but it has some shimmer. It is earthy enough that it will work as a mid-tone, and I'm going to put that right in the center of my eye, starting from the outside using sort of a windshield wiper motion. Just bringing that in to kind of fill in the space that I left bare. So I've got the light up here, I've got the light down here, and now I'm filling in that area in between with this light shimmery pink, not super light. Starting from the outside, coming all the way in like a windshield wiper. But when I'm out here, I sort of feather it up and feather it down because I do want it a little wider out here. and then bring it in again. This is something that you just kind of fiddle with. Everybody's going to approach this a little bit differently. And depending on the shape of your eye, how much you have to work with right here is going to determine exactly what you're doing right here. But the general idea is you start from the outside and you're following that orbital path toward your nose over and over. And then you come back over here on the outer edge and you're sort of feathering it up at the top and the bottom just to kind of help it blend. Because as you recall, I hardly have any light color at the end of my brow. So if I didn't bring that up a bit, I would have light and medium and then bare right here. So I need to kind of bring this up to help me start to fill in that bare spot for me. If you have a lot of light color extended that far, then you wouldn't need to bring it up quite as far. But I would suggest that wherever you're starting from, that you bring it down toward your lashes. Outside, windshield wiper toward your nose, up toward wherever you had your highlight, down toward your lashes. All right. My eyes are very different from one another, and the difference gets more dramatic with age. That's probably true for you as well. So when I look forward, you can generally see more of the mobile lid of this eye than you can, wait a minute, other way around. Let me think. You can see more of the mobile lid of this eye than you can of this eye. This is my bad eye. So what I need to do is bring some of that dark color down to kind of cover up the light white that I just laid down. And what that's going to do is to somewhat minimize the focus on that eye to try to balance them out. So let me repeat. This eye, you can't see as much of the mobile lid. This eye, you can see it, and it's got that white on it. So we want to bring the darker pink down a bit to take some of that brightness out and to help balance these by doing that. The whole color theory, the shadow and light is so interesting to me, and you would be amazed at how much you can sculpt and change your face just as you understand those concepts. And in the early days, you don't understand it, you just do it. But as you see the results, you're like, okay, I'm starting to see what's happening. And then you'll understand why, and then you'll be able to apply it to other areas. So, all good. Okay, so let's see. Even though I said pink, purple is pink to me. So I'm going to do sort of a bright-ish purple in the outer corner. Not this brush. Yeah, this one. Yeah. So it's got some pink in it, but it's really more purple. The thing with your outer corner is you want it to have some kind of depth, brightness, darkness, pizzazz. It's your pop of color, usually the darkest color. So I'm coming out here where I had the, where my furthest point out. I don't want to be too low. That would drag my eye down. So I'm about midway. And then I'm just kind of plopping that dark color right there. Not super dark either. And this is another shimmer. This is a purpley pink shimmer. And this particular brush is really nice for applying that accent color because you don't have to be super precise just because of the shape of these bristles. It allows me to place it and just kind of move it around, and it, I don't know, it just goes where it needs to go. It's part of the magic of owning really good brushes. This is a Robert Jones brush. I will leave information about it in the description of the video. He's a makeup artist that I follow, and I really like his brushes. So we're not really doing any fancy maneuvers. We're just putting a darker-ish color in this outer corner. And you just kind of massage that in. something you can do for any look when you feel like I like what's going on, but it needs a little more depth. It needs a little, I wish I had a darker version of this. You can just add a little bit of black, just a little dab of it, and I'll show you what that does. So, in other words, you might think, well, I need to get a darker purple. I need to get this purple, but a darker version. I need to get that navy, but even darker, or what have you. But really, if you have a nice matte black, you can take any look and make it more dramatic or deeper. Balance is more important than perfect symmetry. Your eyes are not the same, your eyebrows are not the same, but you want there to be balance. So you want the deposit of color to be in approximately the same place. So that's I sit back and I check that frequently. And I think I'm going to blend this out a bit. Blending is everything. You just get a really nice blending brush. It will be called a blending brush, and just blend as you go. And all of a sudden, you'll feel like a makeup artist. Okay. Now, let's show you that fun little trick. I'm going to use sort of a small head brush. This might be called a smudger brush or a contour brush, and pick up just a little bit of the black. All right, and we're just going to put that in that outer corner. Just sort of, so envision where we had put that other deposit of color, and we're going to go in the center of that area. So we're just depositing even a smaller amount. Do that on both sides. So just literally a dot of the black, and then come back with that same brush that you had deposited the darker purple and kind of massage that in with it. It's going to give it a little more depth. If you do anything with the color wheel or color at all, I'm going through a phase where this whole color theory stuff is really, really fascinating to me. But when you see how a color changes by adding white or black, by having it be more or less saturated, more or less transparent, it just fascinates me. So this is the concept of just adding a little bit of black to that shade is going to give it just a deeper, richer color. All right. Now, something that is really popular right now is called, I believe it's called the washed off eye makeup look. And girls on TikTok are putting a heavy eyeliner on, like a traditional eyeliner, like, something like this, that you just, line your eyes top and bottom, and then they wash their face, literally. Don't use eye makeup remover or anything, but just from washing their face, then the water takes off a little bit of that liner and then it leaves it kind of smudgy, and they love that look. Go figure. I tried doing exactly that and it looked atrocious. But to me, I think kind of a similar idea would be to use a powder on a really thin liner brush and get that as close to your lashes as possible. And then kind of go back and just kind of swipe it around. So a smoky look is going to use a thicker brush like what we just applied the black with, like this. So we're not doing that. We're not trying to achieve a smoky look, more of a smudgy look. So it's different. So I'm using this really skinny brush. I put some color really close to my lashes, and then I'm just going to kind of smudge it around. Like, all willy-nilly. So that's a thing right now. It's funny because to me, that's what I try to avoid. I don't want my eyes to look smudgy, but I got to show you. If it's a trend, I got to show you. All right. So I'm using just a dark, sort of a maroon. I'm putting it on my lower lashes and then just smudging it, just rubbing it all over the place. Let me see. Go figure. All right. And then for the top, though, what have I been doing? I think I've been doing a black liner on top. And the reason I like that is because I have been wearing false lashes a lot, but sometimes it's too much for in person. So when I use a nice black liner on top, it just gives my lashes the look of really thick, tons of lashes. So I start from the outside with my black liner and I come toward the middle of my lashes. And because our eye is curved, if I'm making a straight line toward the middle of my eye, then the outer area is going to have a bit of a tail. Well, hopefully you can see what I'm talking about. So if I start here and I'm coming toward the middle of my lash here, there's going to be sort of a little tail or even like a little triangle in this outer area, which is a good thing because it's going to give some lift. And then I'm going to come in and fill in any blank. If I've got some skin showing, I'm going to fill that in. So it's sort of a cat eye, but I'm not bringing it out at all. It's a very subtle cat eye. And when I put the mascara on, you won't really see it. And yet it will make my lashes look thicker and darker because it is there. It's hiding in plain sight. If I go beyond the midpoint of my eye, then I'm coming over the bend and I'm going to start going down. And we're working so hard to give our eyes lift. The last thing we want to do is start pointing down. So we stop as soon as our eye starts curving down toward our nose. So we are only doing about maybe not even 2/3, just slightly more than half. Sometimes I am concerned that this might travel a little bit because I do have eye cream on. So one way to counter that is to again use this little brush and apply a little bit of dark shadow on top of the liner to set it. Not a required step, but it just helps it stay in place. Powder on top of cream always helps to set it. As far as the order of things, you always do your wet, creamy things before your dry powders. Okay, so let's get a little more shimmer on here. Oh, we're going to need to really clean the brush that I used for the black because now we're going opposite. We're going to do something that is like a snow white, very, very pearlescent. It would be called a frost back in my day. And we're going to play with that a little bit. All right, so I've got that frosty color right here. I'm going to put it right in that tear duct area on both sides. And if you would like to, then you can add it also just beneath your brow. And honestly, since our brow area typically is not wrinkled, we don't have crepiness that high up, I would say go for it. We're going to blend it in a second. And one other place where you may want to put it, if you're feeling wild and dangerous, would be right in the center of your lid. All right, and we blend. Don't blend that. All right, we're going to use this brush again. I should probably have several of them. I don't usually use this one this much. But I've been using eyeshadow on my brows recently. I do have a really great brow pencil, but this is just really, really quick. And sometimes quick is all I'm looking for. So I've got a brown powder, a matte brown, just a medium brown, sort of a neutral. It looks really cool in the pan, but when you put it on your eyes, it looks a little bit warm. So I'm going to call it neutral. And I don't want to start right at the outer part because I'm going to deposit too much. So I'm going to come in a little bit and I'm going to start brushing that color on. And then after I've got a little bit of it off the brush, then I can come back to this front part, blot that on. And it just the hair, your brow hairs, grab the color, and it just makes it just really quick and easy. And it actually lasts. It seems like something that would wear off or fade, but this tends to last really well. I have really fine brow hair at the tail, so I might add a little extra. Okay, so it is definitely still winter where I am. I'm in Michigan. It's very cold. I'm going to do a very wintry cheek color look where I'm putting it on my cheeks, but then I'm also going to put it on the tip of my nose. I'm using a cool, sort of a wine color. Soft pinks don't show up really well for me. And again, we're just really trying to balance things out at this point. For myself, I don't like my cheek color too close to my nose. I just feel like then it's just like all cheek color. I want there to be some distinction where you can see the flesh tone of my face, and then you can see the blush of my cheeks, and I just want it to be defined, separate. So I am very careful not to come too close in. I'm sure it depends on how broad your face is, exactly where that's gonna land. Okay. And because we're using light colors on the lips, I'm going to line. I don't always line. Lining is a good idea, especially as we age and we get crepiness around the lips. This gives you a nice definition. My lips are actually starting to change where one side is slightly lower than the other. So you can sort of fix that, hide it with a lip pencil. But again, I just always kind of opt for the quickest thing. My bad. But I'm going to use a rose pink lip liner. So you make the V in your Cupid's bow and then come down one side and then the other side. And I'm doing this because the lip color I'm using is going to be pretty light, and my lips are actually fairly dark to start with. So if I'm putting on a lip color that is that shade or lighter, it just kind of gets absorbed and doesn't do a darn thing. And so I feel like when I line it with something a little bit darker, it just helps it pop. It helps it show up better. All right. That's what I told myself anyway. And this is actually a lilac. This is a frosty lilac, but it's the closest thing I had to a light, soft, frosty pink. I think it's going to work. And I'm blending it with that liner. So I'm not like trying to keep them separated. I'm blending it on purpose. They're not the same color. And I don't want that liner to be garish. I don't want it to be like super obvious. And I have a lovely light pink gloss that I could put on all over, but something that is really pretty is to just put it in the center of your bottom lip, just to give you sort of a pouty look. I'm going to do that. Anyway, all right. I always take my big fluffy brush at the end and sort of blend out anything that, might have a harsh line. I also like to take my foundation brush. I apply my foundation with a brush, and I like to clean up under my eyes. I might be undoing my smudge. And I like to clean up this outer area too. Some people will use tape or something to like really keep this sharp and crisp, but sometimes I think that can be overboard. I think it just looks too much. So I just like to kind of clean it up just like this. Again, lifting. All right. So I'm going to do something with my hair for the final look. All right. Excited? Hold on. Don't go anywhere. So this is my soft, feminine pink, little bit of shimmer look for Valentine's Day. So what do you think? Do you like it? Let me know if you tried it. Let me know what colors you use. If you make some adjustments, we always do, don't we? The eye shades that I use were all Chroma Fusion from Mary Kay. I really like how they last, how they blend. I highly recommend them. And I guess I will have a breakdown of all the shades that I used in the description of the video. I also want to let you know that my new freebie is available. I'm super stoked about it. It is called 10 Easy Ways to Wake Up Looking Younger. And I will have the link to that also in the description of the video. Be sure to click it and get that. I've gotten really good feedback about it. I'm very, very excited. And let me know what you think of that as well. Thanks so much for watching. Remember to like this video if you got anything out of it. Share it with a friend who might enjoy it as well. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so that you're notified of the next one. I appreciate your time and attention, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and a very happy Valentine's Day.